正解。
Rebirth of the malicious Empress of military lineage. Chapter 86, Bloodbath. After the wedding sedan went through more than half of the capital, it finally went into Prince Yu of the First Rank's residence. There were already a number of guests that had arrived at Prince Yu residence. Although Prince Yu was considered fierce and cruel normally, ministers and officials would still attend as he was after all one from the imperial family. Emperor Wenhu and the princes had yet to arrive, but gifts were already sent from the palace, probably because these days Emperor Wenhu's attitude made Prince Yu unhappy. When the people from the palace came over, he did not show any moves and action to let the other person give thanks or to drink a cup of wedding wine. When the gong from the palace saw such a scene, he coldly scoffed in his heart. Perhaps to other people they were only worthless castrated people, but in fact they were the people who were the closest to the emperor. There must be problems between Emperor Wenhu and Prince Yu. Prince Yu still carried on as usual, but Emperor Wenhu was no longer as tolerant as before. The actions Prince Yu did today would only make Emperor Wenhu angrier. When the people from the palace left, Prince Yu then turned his head to instruct the servants to continue to welcome the guests. Today Prince Yu of the First Rank wore bright red wedding robes, and that fabric and embroidery was undoubtedly very intricate, but when worn on his body, one side of the pants was empty, which made it look awkward. Moreover, he had a fierce look but had to fill his face with smiles, even though no one knew who he was smiling for. But when one saw him smile, a layer of goosebumps would form. The Shen family also arrived. Shen Gui and Shen Wan had long gone to look for their familiar colleagues for a chat. Shen Gui currently was now fixing a broken pot, and since everyone was aware of Shen Qing's scandal, they took advantage of Shen Qing being married into Prince Yu residence and used the relationship with Prince Yu to pave some way for their career. As for Shen Wan, even without mentioning, since he was the more ambitious of the two, naturally he would not miss this opportunity. Shen Xin and Luo Zuyin sat together at the bride's side of the family, and they looked down upon Shen Gui's attitude. It was Ren Wanyun who came over and sat with Shen Yuan at the side. She had carefully done her makeup that covered up her red eyes, and was afraid of angering Prince Yu, so she forced herself to smile, but no matter how one looked at, that smile had anger in it. Shen Yuan did not have any expression, but the looks that he gave when his eyes swept by Shen Miao were filled with meanings. Shen Qiu noticed Shen Yuan's gaze and often blocked it in a huff. When Luo Zuyan found out, she thoughtfully asked, "Dumb boy, what with you and Shen Yuan?" Shen Xin couple was not aware of Shen Qing's and Shen Miao's grudge, so Shen Qiu responded vaguely, "He is not pleasing to the eye, thus there is a little friction." "You are really good." Luo Zuyin glared at him. "To hit a person without martial arts." Shen Qiu, "How old are you this year?" Shen Qiu looked towards Shen Miao for help, but Shen Miao only feigned ignorance and did not speak as she looked at her teacup. The guests complimented each other, and from the looks of it, it was a scene of peacefulness. In a blink of an eye, it was time for the wedding ceremony of Shen Qing and Prince Yu. Shen Qing's head was covered as she was supported by her maids Chun Tao and Zhu Li. After finishing bowing to the heavens and the ancestors, Shen Gui's expression was very awkward. Prince Yu's eyes were laughing as he looked at him, as it was a terrifying matter letting Prince Yu bow to them husband and wife. Sure enough, the steward of Prince Yu residence haughtily said, "His Highness the Prince of First Rank is feeling inconvenienced, so this ceremony would be excused." When the words were out, the hall fell into silence. Ren Wanyun gritted her teeth and even the muscles on her cheeks were trembling. Bowing to heavens and ancestors were completed, but when it was time to bow to the parents, Prince Yu then remembered that he was feeling inconvenienced. This was obviously indication that Prince Yu did not recognize Shen Qing, and also deliberately made Shen Gui and Ren Wanyun embarrassed. Although Shen Gui felt his face scorching hot, he was one who bullied the weak and feared the strong, and was afraid that Prince Yu would blame him, so he immediately said, "Since His Highness is inconvenienced, then it should be excused." The younger guests could not help but laugh, and they did not cover up their laughter, and Ren Wanyun almost rushed up to quarrel with them. Just as she was unable to bear it, Shen Yuan suddenly reached his hand out and held her arm and shook his head gently. Ren Wanyan then calmed down and Shen Yuan retrieved his hand back before his eyes landed on Shen Gui, who was smiling flatteringly, and his expression became darker. Number 2 actions are really too shameful. Luo Zuyan said in despise. How could one let others bully one's daughter like this? I initially though he only coveted wealth and riches and did not think that he was completely crazy and ridiculous. Shin Xin shook his head and said in a disappointed tone, how did number 2 become like this? We were fine by ourselves but now was also avoided together. It is really bad luck. Shen Kaiyu said sulkily. At the other end, Shen Yu's entire family also turned red. Even though Shen Wan was also very ambitious in his career, he was unable to mask it like Shen Gui, and Shen Rikayu upheld the high requirements of a scholarly lineage herself. They were after all the Shen family, and Shen Gui's attitude made them feel shameless. After Prince Yu humiliated Shen Gui, he was very satisfied seeing everyone's contempt of the Shen family. During the bowing with the bride, he deliberately prolonged the time. Shen Miao did not know if she was seeing things, but when the bride walked by them, it seems like her body was shaking. Even the crashing of the bridal chambers were avoided for this marriage. Shen Qing was currently pregnant and one feared that there would be any accident during the crashing of the bridal chambers, and no one could afford to bear the offense of harming a royal member. So after Shen Qing was sent to the bridal chambers, Prince Yu was still outside at the banquet, drinking and making merry. Congratulations to His Highness Prince Yu of the first rank. The officials came over to toast. Same to you. Prince Yu replied. On the surface Prince Yu was happy today and even enjoyed it with the officials, but Shen Miao did not ignore his occasional cold expression when he swept his eyes over. Prince Yu had forcibly planned a fight with her and kept thinking of getting back at her. As the vision grew closer, Prince Yu gave a toast with someone and suddenly made a dirty gesture and licked his lips. Shen Miao just looked calmly at such a malicious expression, but it was Shen Kaiyu at the side that saw her staring at the distance and also looked towards the direction of her gaze. What is younger sister looking at? Prince Yu had already turned around to drink with others, so Shen Kaiyu did not see anything. Shen Miao stood up. It is a little stuffy. I will go to the doors for a breath. I will accompany you. Shen Kaiyu quickly said. No need. There is Mo King and the rest guarding outside. I will not go far and it would be just at the door. Shen Miao refused him and got up from her seat and left alone. Prince Yu's residence was very big and Mo King was guarding outside the garden. When he saw her going out, he immediately went up. Shen Miao did not go afar and just stood on the spot and looked entranced at the southwest corner of Prince Yu's residence, until there was a voice behind her. Fifth younger sister. Shen Miao turned back and one did not know when Shen Yuan also came out and smiled at her. Shen Yuan's smile was different from Fu Ziyuyi's gracefulness and also different from Shen Kaiyu's simplicity and honesty, and was even more unlike Ji Yushu's mischievous. His smile always seemed to contain other intentions and made one feel very uncomfortable. And when he stared at other people's eyes, it was like a poisonous snake that was eyeing the prey, and that cold atmosphere was wrapped around the air. Shen Yuan was the opponent in the Shen family's second household that made one fearful. The banquet is only at the halfway point and fifth younger sister came out along. I thought fifth younger sister have some kind of secret and play behind older brother's back. His words had more than just the apparent meaning. Shen Miao looked at the flowers in the garden. It was already in the severe winter and the previous flourishing flowers have long died, and there was barely nothing left on the branches save for some snow, illustrating a cold feeling of despair. She said, then why did second older brother follow out? To take a peek at my secret? I do have the intention to peek. Shen Yuan said, it is just that younger sister hid it so securely that I, your older brother, was unable to do anything. But thinking that you and I are considered as brother and sister, if there is an opportunity, one should give you a few advice. Shen Miao turned her head around and stared at him without blinking. One liked to hear the details. In fact, in my return to the capital, one found that fifth younger sister has changed a lot. as it was a change in person. Perhaps fifth younger sister has grown up, or perhaps there is someone showing guidance. But I, the second older brother, had walked on more roads than fifth younger sister after all. In some matters, see more clearly that you all. He paused and slightly looked at the wedding hall. In there, everyone's voices were exchanging wishes, the sound of the clinking of cups and the reply of greetings and congratulations. Even the words of fawning could be heard from afar. Shen Yuan said, "Today's King Er's wedding, does fifth younger sister feel happy?" "Honestly speaking, to the satisfaction of one's heart." Shen Miao smiled lightly. A flash of color appeared in Shen Yuan's eyes before he laughed. "Fifth younger sister really do not know to exercise restraint. The grudge of you and King Er have already reached the point of no rest till one's death. Now that King Er was sent into Prince Yu residence, one will think this is victory, which is to say that fifth younger sister after all have a heart of a child's." He touched Shen Miao's head, like a close brother, "but it is not necessary that King Er does not have a chance to turn around after entering Prince Yu residence. After getting over this period, one cannot say for sure how King Er days will be like, but one would be afraid that fifth younger sister will be struggling a lot." Shen Miao did not speak and only heard Shen Yuan continuing, "If I were fifth younger sister, one would not have gave King Er an opportunity in the beginning and would remove the opponent early and end her life. The so-called beak and so-called letting the opponent suffer more pain, are only increasing one's trouble." He looked at Shen Miao and smiled kindly. "It is assumed that you are still young and do not understand the logic of tolerating is nurturing an evildoer. It is the ideal case to end the opponent life early." Shen Miao quietly looked at Shen Yuan in front and her heart was slightly moved. Shen Yuan was indeed the most intelligent person of the second household, and he did not see the process but just looked at the result. If one offended him, he would use the simplest of method to end someone's life. Such direct and vicious means that trouble was nip at the bud. This kind of person, calm and rational, would not be emotional because of other things. Thus when dealing with such a person, one could not be enraged. She smiled. "What second older brother said is correct. I am after all young and do not treat relations lightly." When such mocking words landed in Shen Yuan's ears, Shen Yuan smiled without a care, but before he could speak, he heard Shen Miao's faint voice, "Even though I am not like second older brother treating relations lightly, but there is one point that I am similar to second older brother, which is I too do not like to retain future trouble." "You guess if eldest sister would be able to turn around after marrying into Prince Yu residence?" Shen Yuan stared at her. "Do you think not?" "Will it?" Shen Miao answered the question with another. She had been speaking calmly and obediently, but this "will it?" was filled with thick provocation and ridicule. It was like one is high up ridiculing, which made the all the while unmoved Shen Yuan abruptly shrink. After Shen Miao finished this sentence, she lightly chuckled and did not look at Shen Yuan again and headed to the wedding hall as she left the garden. Whether Shen King will turn around made her lips slightly raised up. That kind of pleasure from her heart made Mo King, who was following behind, surprised for a moment. After following Shen Miao for this long, Mo King was gradually aware. He had seen Shen Miao ruthless moments, and most of the times it would often be Shen Miao calmly giving out orders. Even if she laughed, there would be a touch of majestic to it. But at the moment her eyes were curved as if they were very happy. One did not know what matter made her that happy. Mo King looked at Shen Yuan, who was still standing blankly in garden, and his heart was filled with doubt of how Shen Miao could be so happy just by talking a few sentences with Shen Yuan. No matter how grand the banquet was, there would be time for it to end. Just when one was tipsy and merry, guests started leaving in twos and threes, and Shen Miao also stepped into the carriage to return back to the residence. In the carriage, Luo Yuyan remained silent. One did not know what she was thinking about when she held Shen Miao's hands and asked, "Zhao Zhao, what kind of man does your heart admire?" It was in fact somewhat out of line for a mother to ask her unmarried daughter, but most likely because Shen King was married today, it had touched on Luo Zuyan's worries. She was often out in batters and now thinking about, She actually knew nothing about what Shen Miao was thinking in her heart. She only knew of Shen Miao liking Prince Ding, and Luo Zuyan had seen him before. He was indeed a giant among men and was elegant and talented, but that kind of person's aspiration would not be short, and towards matters of relationships, one may not be able to achieve happiness when marrying to such a person. Shen Miao was surprised for a moment before she smiled and looked at Luo Zuyan. What kind of person does mother wish for me to marry? Luo Zuyan did not think that Shen Miao would answer a question with another, so for a moment of time she ignored the question and looked at Shen Miao. There was no trace of embarrassment, as if this was a common and simple question. Luo Zuyan thought for a bit before speaking. Mother wished that you are able to marry a person of integrity. It would be best that his official position is not too high, wealth not too big, ambition not too extensive, and residence not too complicated. Father and mother will give you influence and wealth. With a smaller ambition, one would sincerely love you. A simpler residence meant that you will be able to quietly live on when you are married over. In short, one must sincerely respect and love you. Shen Miao's eyes smiled. Luo Zuyan's and Shen Xin's hope had not changed at all. They wished for Shen Miao to be married to an ordinary person, and most of the demands were so that one would dote and love her more. Unfortunately, her heart was befuddled, and of all thousands of males, she chose the one that would not like her the most. But Luo Zuyan spoke till she herself smiled. Mother know that you at such age would not love such person like this. You all would more likely like those that are seen in a crowd. When mother was at your age, one also loved young and handsome heroes, but mother did not regret being married to your father. As such, I will listen to mother. Shen Miao said softly. Luo Zuyan was stunned. What? Shen Miao looked at her and said word for word, to marry an ordinary person that can love and respect me. Is not that mother's wish? Therefore, in the future when one reached to a marriageable age, I will marry a person like this. Luo Zuyan held onto Shen Miao's hands and felt strange in her heart. The young female in front was well behaved and had a docile temperament which was a total different from the past. Whatever she said, Shen Miao would agree to it. One would be very happy to have such an obedient daughter like this, but Luo Zuyan did not know why she was not even a bit happy. As if the face in front was not supposed to be so gentle, she should be a little more arrogant, more rebellious and more lively, and not obedient and calm like this, which made one feel inexplicably sad. Luo Zuyan pulled Shen Miao into an embrace and said in a low voice, even so, at your current age, it is not too much to like whatever kind of person. Mother know whoever person that Zhao Zhao place in her heart, would be a good person. Our Zhao Zhao is so good, he would definitely love and respect Zhao Zhao. If Zhao Zhao likes, even if he is not an ordinary person, as long as he treat Zhao Zhao well, mother will not stop you. Shen Miao buried her head into Luo Zuyan's embrace and her voice was almost not visible. Thanking mother. On the 8th day of the 12th lunar month, it began to snow again. Actually, when it was approaching the beginning of the year, the weather will turn sunny, and for several days straight it had been sunny. Who knew that on this night, there was actually a rare snowstorm. There was no pedestrian on the Ding capital streets and all the businesses were closed. One could only see the biting cold north wind blow like sharp knives, carrying large coarse snows as it whistles in the air. In front of the main doors of Prince Yu residence in the Ding capital, the hanged red lanterns were leaning unsteadily from side to side, and the bright red cloth that was there in the morning was already covered in snow. As for the two red joyous words that were pasted on the doors were already half torn away by the wind, and the remaining half had holes in it, making it look somewhat weird. The two guards that were guarding outside also drank the congratulatory wine and were somewhat drunk. One of them was holding the wine gourd in his hand as he smiled, had not thought that there would still be day where a Wang would come it. After that year, I never would have expected someone would marry their daughter in. Hey, are not you talking nonsense? That is not called as marrying in. It was clear that it was sold into. What about Wang F? The person talking took a glance inside and shook his head. Do not know how long can she live. Perhaps it is to our advantage. The former laughed as the malicious meaning between the words sank in. "But Prince Yu's child is inside. If you do not want your life, then go ahead," the other person said. A kai sound was heard, a little fuzzy in the wind and snow, and that person carrying the wine gourd asked, "Just now seemed to have heard something." "Did you hear it?" "What sound?" The latter then drunkenly waved his hands. "Sound of the wind." "You better not be flustered. Today is the wedding of the prince. It is better when nothing bad goes on." That person was slightly awake from the alcohol and stood up straight before turning around to look, but did not see anything. "Worry for nothing." The other guard laughed at him. "What kind of place we are at? Whoever dare to come here and behave atrociously would have lived for far too long." "Hey!" He noticed something dripping onto his face and wiped eye away. "Why is this snow warm?" When he opened his hands, one could see clearly as he was by the fireside. How was it snow? It was clearly blood. Warm blood. That person was shocked but was quick to look up and saw a guard staring at him from the eaves, with blood dripping down from his throat. He just opened his mouth when he saw a silver light flashing by. He felt that something hot was spraying from his throat and his whole body lost its strength as he softly went down. When he fell onto the ground, he saw his partner that he was talking to also fell onto the snow and his chest was bright red, and even the snow also displayed such shocking traces of it. From the eaves of the house, over dozens of people jumped down and they were all clad in black and had masked their faces, almost blending into the night. At the other side, 2 people jumped out and moved the 2 corpses at the doors away, and after a moment, new guards stood in front of the doors. The black-clad man leading did a hand gesture and a line of people noiselessly sneaked into the Prince Yu residence. In the Prince Yu residence, in His Highness' room, Shen King was sitting on the bed with her entire body trembling. Prince Yu was laying on the soft couch and 2 irresistible pretty maids were tenderly feeding and massaging him, and from time to time whispered words that increased one's heartbeat. Shen King bit her lower lip as an unspeakable shame gurgled up in her heart. She was originally a high-born daughter and would marry to His Highness Prince Ting, such an impressive and talented man. But who knew now she ended up in Prince Yu's hands? Now she as the formal wife had to be humiliated by such cheap females, from who knows where. Seeing such a shameless scene, Shen King's was fearful and angry, but the hate was towards Shen Miao, through and through. "You should be glad that you are pregnant with this prince's seed." Prince Yu noticed her semblance and his expression darkened, "Otherwise you would not be able to easily pass tonight." He appreciated Shen King's somewhat fearful eyes, but a pair of clear and calm eyes kept coming up in his mind. Suddenly a wave of anger gushed out and Prince Yu looked at Shen King before saying slowly, "However, once you deliver this prince's child, this prince would not ill-treat you. There are so many guards in this prince's residence and these guards went through thick and thin with this prince. Since you are this prince's wife, you should comfort them for this prince." A buzzing sound was heard in Shen King's mind and she almost fainted. The terrifying things in Prince Yu's words made her think about the future, and now even the courage to carry on living was gone. "Ah, this prince will definitely treat you well." The more gentle Prince Yu's voice were, the more fanatic his eyes became, that even the 2 maids beside were somewhat trembling. "Tremble what tremble?" Prince Yu suddenly frowned and was about to speak when the maid on the left side suddenly staggered and fell onto Prince Yu, and a pair of jade arms just nicely went around Prince Yu's head. Prince Yu had yet to react when the other maid suddenly took the hairpin off and pierced it onto Prince Yu's throat. Prince Yu screamed, but he was not one who would do nothing. A hong sound was heard and the 2 maids were overturned by him. He also had martial arts skills and his action was very vicious as both maids struggled on the ground a few times before their breath stopped. Shen King, who was at the side, was scared, stunned and in a panic hid under the table. Prince Yu pulled the hairpin out from his throat. That hairpin was not thrusted deep, but there were still a lot of blood flowing out. Prince Yu cursed before crying out, "Guards, guards!" One guard quickly answered and came in. Prince Yu kicked the 2 corpses on the ground. "Go and check what plaything are these?" "Yes." That guard bowed and complied. Prince Yu just turned back when he heard a kai sound. When he looked down, He saw a silver tip stained with blood sticking out from his chest. It cleanly went through his chest. The guard who just complied drew his sword out and Prince Yu's body became unstable. He seemed to want to call for someone, but after walking a few steps, he collapsed. The tip of the blade was glistening in the night, reflecting a large stain of blood. The technique was very skillful, like one slaughtering pigs or sheep, as one stroke was enough to kill and no excess strokes were required. The guard glanced at Prince Yu's corpse and then looked towards the shivering Shen King, who was hiding under the table. "You are Shen King, is warrior. Are you sent by second older brother to save me?" Shen King's eyes lit up as she looked at the other person. That guard did not say anything and turned to walk out. Shen King had some doubts in her mind and wanted to go out, and after some thoughts, she finally was afraid to face Prince Yu's corpse, so she took some gold and silver on the table and wrapped it in a cloth before heading out. Just as she opened the door, she almost tripped and the lantern shone onto the particularly frightening body of a guard. Shen King screamed as she looked out. In the dark, there seemed to be a dark shadow quickly passing through and a heavy thud sounded. Every sound made one's heart chill a bit. Prince Yu's residence was eerie as the underworld, and the wind and snow made one unable to see the scene outside, but the thick smell of blood was like a big net, firmly covering one's head. It seems that even the snow had won a scarlet shade. Western courtyard of the Shen residence. Bailu closed the window again and said, "The wind and snow outside is really big." The window was blown open a number of times. "Truly scary." "Exactly." Xuanzang smiled. "Heard the old folks say that such weather like this meant that the heavens want to punish the sinners. It seems that this time the sinners' offenses must be huge, for such a big storm like this was not seen for many years." "What is young lady looking at?" Jings asked. Could one be thinking about the wedding banquet during the day? Since returning back to the residence in the evening, Shen Miao sat in front of the table and one did not know what she was thinking. Once she sat down, it was till the night had fallen. One did not know why, but Jings felt that Shen Miao was waiting for something. Waiting for what? Shen Miao shook her head. "Just looking." Guyu and Jings looked at each other's before looking at the outside. It was dark outside and nothing could be seen, so what could Shen Miao be looking at? Shen Miao's eyes hung down and the lights in the room were quiet while the snow was fighting outside. In just one night, how many people would lose their lives and head towards the underworld? Shen Yuan said correctly. She would not give herself a road to retreat, so she would not give others a road to retreat. The slender fingers unhurriedly tap on the tables, as if tapping onto a melancholy rhythm, as one was reminiscing the strange songs in the cold palace. What kind of song was that? It was a song that sings about how the virtuous and wicked got their just rewards and how the heavenly laws were cyclical.